Now, if you need one single, undeniable piece of evidence that enough faith doesn't guarantee a yes, well, we only need to look at one prayer. This might be the most important prayer in all of history, and it's one God absolutely unequivocally said no to.
Yeah, we're in the Garden of Gethsemane, and Jesus himself, the Son of God, prays this just agonizing prayer. He asks for the cup, this symbol of suffering in the cross, to be taken away from him. I mean, it is a raw, honest, and deeply, deeply felt request.
So let's just break this down for a second. Did Jesus have enough faith? Yeah, of course he did. He prayed honestly about what he wanted. He prayed faithfully because of his relationship to the Father. And ultimately, he prayed submissively to God's will. You could say it was a perfect prayer. And yet, the answer was still no.
This one prayer just demolishes the idea that enough faith guarantees you a specific outcome. Think about it. If perfect faith from a perfect person could be met with a no for the sake of a much greater purpose, then our whole understanding of prayer has to make room for that reality. It can't be that faith is a tool to get what we want. It just can't.
Okay, but I know what you might be thinking. What about those verses that seem to say the exact opposite? You know the ones, the verses that people often point to as proof that faith is a force we can wield. Well, let's tackle the most famous one head-on.
Yep, here it is. Mark 11:23, the famous move mountains promise. And listen, on the surface, it really does sound like if you just believe hard enough, you can do impossible things. But as with all scripture, context. Context is everything. Okay, first things first. Let's look at that word doubt. The original Greek word diakrino is fascinating. It doesn't mean what we think it means, like having emotional uncertainty or moments of fear. It actually means having a divided allegiance or being double-minded. It's about wanting God's power but at the same time resisting his authority. So it's really a question of loyalty, not your emotional state.
And now for the context. So what's going on right before Jesus says this? He just cursed a fig tree, which was a pretty clear symbol for the fruitless religious system of that time. And in Old Testament prophecy, mountains weren't always literal mountains. They were often metaphors for these massive entrenched political or religious powers, the huge obstacles to God's plan. So what's the point? It's not about us moving literal mountains for our own personal projects. It's about having faith in God's power to remove the colossal obstacles to his kingdom work. See the difference?